Welcome everyone to another episode of Convicts and Cops. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tony Moreno. In the world of gangs and police officers, especially the gang guys, they know you as Pac Man, refer to you as Pac Man. Welcome aboard, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, you bet. It's an honor. It's an honor for me. You are synonymous with LAPD gang officers. When people think of an LAPD gang officer, your name comes to the forefront. Can you, going back before we get to that, where were you born and where were you raised?
I was born in East LA at the Lincoln Hospital at 3rd and Soto, and raised in Hollenbeck Division, East LA, and on Lee Street till I was 12 years old.
Wow. Now that area today, as a seasoned gang cop, what territory, gang territory was that?
Well, it's north of the 5 freeway, so it's White Fence.
The White Fence gang.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, we were attending a training conference together, and I think at that conference we both discovered that we were born and raised about 5 blocks apart from each other. Can you talk about your growing up in that area, the church you attended, and some of the structures from that area?
Yeah, I was over in by Whittier and Lorena, and I went to Lorena Street School, which is a block away from where I lived, and went to Resurrection Church, and I did my communion there. I think I did my baptism there too.
Wow.
My confirmation, and I remember we were up Northern California and you were doing a program, and you showed a picture of Father Garcia.
Right.
Who I remember from when I was a kid growing up, and he was a Monsignor at Resurrection Church.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of had the idea, we're so close to each other growing up, why don't we maybe do a book together?
That was amazing. I remember us talking about it, and actually, you know, I had no inkling that you were 5 blocks
right.
and away from me, and the notion, I believe my memory serves me right, it was your idea to collaborate on or to do the book, the idea of doing a book together, and then we both talked about it, and then we just said, let's do it.
Yeah, and I think the point of the book was to show that no matter where you're raised doesn't determine how you turn out in life.
Exactly.
And that's what I think we do with the book.
And that is the message of the book. It's not a dog and pony thing. I mean, I'm a former street gang member, a former prison gang member. You're a former and well-renowned a gang cop whose character was played in a movie. We'll get to that. So that in and of itself is a hook for many. I mean, many people look at that like, wow, that's pretty cool. But our motivation, I think, what endeared me to your idea of us getting together on this was just what you said, is to give hope to young people to understand and recognize that no matter where you come from, and people can identify with this on the East Coast, whether you're in an Irish neighborhood, African American, Puerto Rican, what have you, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to have people that make bad decisions. They're going to be gang members. You're going to have people like yourself. What was I know the answer in my mind from what I observed. I want your audience to hear it from you. What was it that kept you straight through all those years?
I think the main thing that kept me straight was my father. My mother was, good too, but my father, back then, I was his only son. I had an older sister, but he really kind of took his job as a father seriously, and really that's the hardest job in the world, being a parent. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, you have a boy or a girl, it's still the hardest job in the world. And he was raised in a large family, but he didn't have a father. So it goes back to he was going to be my parent and wasn't going to have anybody else raise me. So he was really involved with everything I did growing up.
Sports, everything.
Sports, yeah, he got me sports minded. He had me in sports, and growing up, if I was playing baseball or football, if I was first string or riding the bench, he was there. And I always knew he was there. And he was, and then my mother, you know, a devout Catholic, I didn't want to break her heart by doing anything wrong. So I think it was a perfect combination of a man showing you what a man does, and my mother, you know, again, not wanting to break her heart or do anything wrong. So I was raised that way.
You know, Tony, what I got out of our book when I read your part of it, because we alternated chapters, I think that was a good idea for us to decide to do that. When we alternated chapters, and when I was more interested in reading your part because I already knew mine, and when I finished, the message that I got, it hit me like a ton of bricks, was your desire not to disappoint your father.
Right.
How important was that to you?
Right. That was very important. And when I was out running around with my friends, 12, 13, 14 years old, if I learned how to stay out of trouble. And if I was ever going to do something, I'd be like, you know, what will my dad think? And that kept me out of trouble, basically, you know, where I never had the idea I was smarter than him, because if I would have tried to get away with things, but I never did, you know. He kept me pretty straight.
So it's pretty accurate to assume that it doesn't take Dr. Phil to tell anybody that your number one role model was your father.
Right.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about it, and when I teach classes now or I talk to groups, the word I hear is participation trophy, and it sounds like a bad thing. But I can tell you, growing up, playing school, playing Pop Warner, whether I was on the bench, whether I was first string, at the end of the year, we would get a trophy. And those trophies meant something to me, because you might brush it off and say, participation trophy. Yeah, but I was out there every Tuesday and Thursday evening and had a game on the weekend for 3 months. And to me, those participation trophies meant putting in work.
Yeah.
Didn't matter we won or lost. And not only that, but my dad would always be sitting there. And he wasn't yelling. He had something to tell me after the game or in the car. And he built a bookshelf for me. And all these participation trophies, as you call them, I had like 8 or 9 in my bookshelf, and I could look at them every night. And I could see myself as somebody who earned those, you know, and that was really important to me, and I knew it was important to him too.
So I think it's established that nobody in life is born a criminal. Nobody is born predestined to be a gang member, so to speak. Yeah, you have choices you can make, etc. Now, you and I went through we both went to Our Lady of Resurrection. We both knew very intimately, very well, Father Garcia. And I believe from reading the book, of course, that you and I have Father Garcia as one of our role models.
Right.
So we have other role models that came into our life, but we were both altar boys. Talk about your experience as an altar boy.
Well, when I was an altar boy, my mother was extremely proud of me. But I had asthma when I was growing up. And to be honest, I was like a clown, but I was like a giggler. People could make me laugh very easily. and I noticed that one of the younger priests would seem to fart, and nobody else could hear it, but we could.
Oh no.
And I would try to keep from laughing. And then when I had mass, and a couple of my friends would go, and they knew I was a giggler, and then if he farted, it was like, I can't do this. I can't hold my laughter in. So I told my mom, I lied to her and said that the was making it hard for me to breathe.
The incense?
Yes.
Yes.
It was making it hard for me to breathe, and I don't know if I could do this. And she, being a loving mother, she says, okay, well,
Poor
if you
Mijo.
can't do it, yeah, poor Mijo, if you can't do it, you can't do it. At least you tried. And I'm like, yes, but just one of those life things that.
Yeah. So now
I wasn't successful like you were.
you weren't like me, right?
No.
No. Yeah, I doubt that. But now you were in a gang-infested area.
Yes.
I know you were 5 blocks from me on the other side of the freeway, white fence territory. So you must have heard gunshots. You must have seen or heard of incidents that took place during your childhood.